In case you didn't know, religious people can be very sensitive about their beliefs being made fun of.
The people in my life who were like aware of the new atheists, they just hated them because they made fun of their beliefs. Like they weren't like, it's not like the people in my life were like, you know, philosophy majors who were just like, oh, they know nothing of epistemology. It's like, no, they weren't doing that. They were just mad that they were being made fun of. Like, that was it. And like you said, they weren't used to it.
It's funny because when it comes to their positions being mocked, well, that's a no-no. But then, some Christians will turn around and cheer on David Wood's antics. And some Muslims will hype up apologists that essentially talk like a WWE wrestler.
And we're proud of that.
Regardless of the religious infighting amongst themselves, as many people turn away from organized religion, it's increasingly common for the secular among us to throw a few of our own punches. Is this a good thing, or should we be cautious? Friend of the channel, CounterApologist, has a really measured take. Mockery is a double-edged sword, but to pretend that this sword is always unnecessary is wrong. Certainly there are plenty of atheists who don't engage on the issues strongly, and all too often resort to mockery of religious believers. Blanket mockery is a dangerous thing that can lead to uncritical acceptance of the status quo. I would imagine that this is something Christians would appreciate. However, this doesn't mean that mockery cannot or even should not be used. It does mean that mockery should not be the default response. Reason and kindness should always be the first thing to be employed. But that can only go so far. In other words, wisdom is required here. One of my favorite parts of the book of Proverbs reads, "Answer not a fool according to his folly, lest you be like him yourself. Answer a fool according to his folly, lest he be wise in his own eyes." Now this needn't be seen as a contradiction, but rather an invitation to apply wisdom to different situations. I think we should take a similar approach towards mockery. Sometimes spicy poking and prodding might be necessary, and other times it might not. If all you do is constantly make fun of people you disagree with, that's probably not going to accomplish anything. In fact, that can actually make you look incompetent if you don't have at least a basic grasp of the issues at hand. I happen to think that the more informed you are, the more effective the use of rhetorical jabs can be, and I'm not alone in this.
You thoughtfully fire an arrow, and not like the memes and not like the radical atheists, not like the lowbrow type of stuff, right? But I mean, when you thoughtfully say something jolting, whether it be about, you know, the Old Testament genocide apologists or whatever, you're aiming for something, and it needs to have, but when it's done properly, it works, because I know it works for me.
Right.
It's worked for me over and over. Sometimes you get mad or angry or offended or whatever. And so what does it make you do? It makes you go, okay, let's go find out more about this.
Right.
And pretty soon you find your pants are down.
None of this, of course, means that we should treat every person or position with equal seriousness. For example, I don't take charlatans like Kenneth Copeland seriously at all.
To those critics that say that a preacher should not be living a life of luxury, what is your response to that?
They're wrong.
That clip was taken from this video, where I used some artistic license to, you guessed it, mock Kenneth Copeland.